Let's talk about a real life example. Turkey's inflation rate right now is above 70%.
Prices in the country rose by 73.5%.
This Big Mac meal here in Turkey costs 33 Turkish lira. This meal is going to cost you the equivalent of working more than 3 hours.
You're working a full shift just to eat pretty much your meals for the entire day. How are you supposed to afford everything else?
Let's talk about a real life example that's affecting a country. One that stands out to me is what's happening in Turkey.
Chart of the day comes from the nation of Turkey, where inflation is on, let's just say, another level. The country's statistical agency reporting that prices in the country rose by 73.5% year over year in May, food prices almost doubling. And we have to remember, these are rates of change here, not necessarily levels. So you see all of this compounding as we've seen inflation rates above 50% in many of the previous months. We have to keep in mind that there's been a lot of politics behind this.
So it's absolutely insane that Turkey's inflation rate right now is above 70%. Now, that's just a number, right? The same as how our numbers currently are, right? You just hear, oh, inflation is going up by a percentage or 2% or, 100 basis points. What the does that mean? Let's look at exactly what's happening in Turkey and how that's really affecting people on a day-to-day basis, like with their spending.
This Big Mac meal here in Turkey costs 33 Turkish lira. That's about $3.41 at today's exchange rate. Pretty reasonable for McDonald's, but consider this. If you're earning minimum wage here, this meal is going to cost you the equivalent of working more than 3 hours. But that's just McDonald's.
Olivia, I can't even imagine like working 3 hours for like a meal, right? So if somebody works 9 hours a day, like what that means is they could eat 3 meals. So it's almost like you're eating to work, and you're not even eating well. You're eating McDonald's.
I mean, McDonald's is good, but it's not healthy, and it's like if you're working a full shift just to eat pretty much your meals for the entire day, how are you supposed to afford everything else? How are you supposed to afford your rent or your mortgage, your bills? That's insane.
And you're right. Nothing's wrong with McDonald's. I'm sure it's great food, but I'm also sure there are healthier options that are more that can help you live longer. But you were saying that also, like in the UK, energy has spiked. So how's inflation affecting you in the UK, and what's the government currently doing about it?
Yeah, so energy prices here have been quite a big topic, just because in some households, energy prices could go up about 600 to 800 pounds a year, which about American, that's about $1,500 to $2,000, which is a lot, especially for low-income households. For me, it's I live with my partner, so for us, it shouldn't be too much more. But if you're a family, it's going to go up dramatically. And so what's happening is the government has kind of put a cap on how much energy companies can increase their prices by for, I think it's about a year. And then next year, they're allowed to raise it even more. But what they're doing is they're sending every household about 400, I think it's 400 pounds. But the problem is with this is it's not going directly to the households to spend as needed. It's going to the energy companies, and the energy companies will then put it towards your bill as they see fit. So it's like it is a problem, but you're not going to get it right away, and it's spread over a couple of months, so maybe your monthly bill will go down, or if you pay on a prepayment meter, you'll get 400 pounds on there. But it's hard because, yes, the government's sending the money, this 400 pounds, but they're sending it to the energy companies, and I'm a bit skeptical about how it'll be spent and if it'll be spent right. I would prefer to have it in my bank account and spend it as I see fit, because I might be struggling in another way one month, and the 400 pounds could help me there. But that's kind of what they're doing with the energy prices. And, gas here is insane at the moment. I think the other day I think it was like £2.20 per litre, which is ridiculous. I've never seen it that high. So it's mad. There's a ton of things happening here. The government seems to be doing some things, but not a lot. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll wake up a bit and kind of help people out. I'm hoping.
That's kind of insane because it's almost like big industries making out well during all these hard times because it's like, hey, instead of having them lower their prices or come to some sort of agreement, they're like, hey, we'll take government money, taxpayer money, and then we'll pay directly the energy companies who are already profitable, not necessarily the people who actually need the money and need to spend it how they want to spend it. So that's absolutely like government's paying big industry and people are getting richer, but not the people who actually need the funds or really need the relief. So it's like if my bill was $1,000 and now it's $1,400 and you give me a credit for $1,400, well, they could have just not raised the rates, or they could have worked it on the back end and give me that $400 to spend how I want to spend it.
Exactly. And there are certain things the government's doing that for like lower income houses that are on benefits, they are getting a bit more money. I think it's about £650 they're getting, which I believe is about 1,500 American. So they're getting a bit more help lower income families, but it's just, I don't think it's enough. You know, they're saying with gas prices here, it's insane, and it's called a windfall tax, where you'll see a little bit at the gas pump, but that's going to be a few pence every time you fill up. It's not going to be helping us as much as it should. And in the meantime, all these companies are benefiting, like he said, they're profiting from it, when really the government could just say, no, you can't raise energy prices.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely insane.